Yo. CTB, Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say what up to him, man.
What's up, everybody? Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing.
Most definitely. This is the place where the boxing fans come to get these delicious entrees of boxing knowledge. And today on the menu, we got this for you guys.
So, Mike, it seems to have gone quiet on the Wilder arbitration situation. No one's really asking about it. What is your understanding about Wilder's legal case at this present time?
Yeah, I think we're going to hear a lot more about it over the next couple of weeks because it's not gone away. I think it's just getting started now. So, this is going to be up to the judge presiding over the case. The dispute resolution clause in the contract for the second Wilder Fury fight mandated that any issues pertaining to the third fight would head to an arbitrator, and it is binding arbitration. So they have to listen to the arbitrator. That's the final word. That is the legal mechanism here. So we're going to see what happens, but Wilder's lawyer will make his cases of depositions, and then the arbitrator will make his decision. But this all comes down to the deadline for the rematch, and that deadline for that rematch really was in October, and Fury agreed to push it back to December to allow for fans. Now, I'm sure Wilder's team is going to argue, well, if you agreed to push it back once, then you were agreeing to push it back, period. Or maybe that, hey, it was a pandemic, it was out of our control. But maybe the Fury fighter side will say, look, we had fans in fights in October in the U.S. I mean, Gervonta Davis, Leo Santa Cruz, there were fans. So why couldn't this fight have been held in October and November?
There you have it. I'll leave it there. If you don't know, I'm gonna put that. It's coming from IFL TV. I'm gonna put the source in the description. That's Mike Coppinger, basically talking about the arbitration case that a lot of people didn't know was going on because a lot of people thought it wasn't going on. But from what you heard from that small snippet that I put, what did you hear about arbitration, and what's your thought about it?
Well, the first thing I want to say is, we told y'all earlier this week. We told y'all, man, about the arbitration, and that had to be settled first. Y'all better listen to us, man.
Facts.
But I mean, like you said, we talked about the other day, man. It's common sense. When you're dealing with legal issues, you got to walk very carefully. So I know Hearn wants to make the fight, but Top Rank got to cross all their T's and dot all their I's before they make this fight. And yes, there is what you call something like an offer sheet. On that offer sheet, you will have agreement with the purse split, and what fighter might walk out first, and all these other things. But as far, like you said, as far as the site and the date, it hasn't been finalized yet. So even though you have like an offer sheet, that's not the final contract as far as the fight being made. They're going in the right direction. It's getting momentum. It's getting there. But until the Deontay Wilder situation is settled and he's paid, or the arbitration agrees that they don't have to pay him, they can't move. If you realize, Tyson Fury said he wanted to fight as soon as possible. They was even talking about trying to have this fight in the summertime. Now they saying, from that interview, they were saying like October the fight might be made, which is like 7 months from now. So that already tell you there's a lot of other issues going on with the fight. So I mean, that's what I get from it as far as the arbitration.
Right. What I got from it was a lot. I got that the arbitrator, like he said, the arbitrator decision is binding, which means that if the arbitrator say you have to fight Wilder or pay damages, I mean, I think what a lot of pro Wilder fans think is the arbitration judge can make Fury fight Wilder. That's not the case. The judge can't make Fury fight anybody. That's not what his ruling will be. His ruling will be either Fury has a case to move on with his career, or he has to say Wilder contract has a case. So either abide by your contract or pay damages to the contract. So we made a video yesterday about step aside money. This what step aside money to me makes no sense, because Wilder will make a lot more money just on damages. So why would he concede to Fury and Wilder, Fury and Joshua fighting, and miss out on possibly damages, getting paid damages? Because you're saying if, all right, I'm breaking it down for you. If Fury and Wilder's first fight, the first two fights they had, say the first fight pulled in 80 million, the second fight pulled in 100 million. They can say, okay, for that third fight, Boots estimated this fight to be worth 120 million. Fury don't want to fight. The arbitrator says you have to pay damages. So now Fury's team have to pay a percentage of $120 million to Wilder's camp. It will be a hell of a lot more than $10 million. I'll put it that way to you. It'd be a hell of a lot more than $10 million. So Wilder been financially invested into this court case. $10 million is not going to get this man to let off of this arbitration. So that's going to postpone, in my opinion, this is going to postpone the Anthony Joshua Fury fight probably until next year, bro. What you think about that, man?
I think you right, spot on, man. Like everything you said, just stop being biased and just listen to the facts, and you will understand better where we coming from. And another thing that's funny to me that I heard in the interview, would you agree that this probably would be the biggest fight in UK history if they fight?
I mean, yeah, possibly UK history. I think it could be. I believe so. Yeah.
So the biggest fight probably in UK history. Why the hell would you want to have a fight in the Middle East?
Because
I know somebody to pay the site fee, right?
It's not only that, but also because Tyson Fury doesn't have a UK boxing license. But that's a whole nother video. But
Okay.
And even he said in one of his interviews that he would never fight in the UK again. Anyway, we did a video about it, saying that it was a small market, and he never fighting there again.
I was wondering, I thought, why would you not want to have the biggest fight in UK history in UK if you could just wait out and have that fight in UK? It would be a huge fight. But okay, so he don't have the license, so that would make sense. Okay, if you want to have it in the Middle East. But I mean, I told y'all earlier in the week that this whole week details will come out and it will be interesting. And like as a boxing fan, we want these big fights. So I mean, if it's made, like I said, great for boxing, man. I like to see our sport talked about on these mainstream networks. To get us back out there. Yeah, so I'm fine with that. You know what I'm saying? But the common sense and the facts tell me until the arbitration is settled, we're gonna have to wait to see how that plays out. So I mean, everybody just sit still and calm down. But hopefully we can get either Wilder and Fury. I know a lot of people are against that fight for some reason, but the first fight was a draw. The second fight, Tyson Fury won, but it was a lot of other things that happened in that fight. So normally when you have two fights like that, you would want to have a trilogy to pit that to rest. Yeah. So hopefully, we'll get both of those fights in the heavyweight division. One this year maybe, and maybe the other one beginning of next year.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. It's just a shame. But I also take away from this video, he made a point, which I kind of agree with, that I never thought about until after I watched his interview. He said that the fight deadline was in October of 2020. Of course, we couldn't have that fight then because of the pandemic. But he said that Fury's team will argue that they had a fight with fans in it pretty much around that same time period.
The Tank Davis had a fight.
Right, Tank Davis, when they fought in, I think it was in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. It was Atlanta or Texas, one of the two. I forgot which one. So you're gonna make that case. He said that Wilder's team was pretty much waiting for Fury's team to come up with the location and and come up with the pretty much the parameters of the next fight. He's saying that it's like he said it's like Wilder's team just say, okay, we want the fight, and then it's got quiet about it and just left it like that. They didn't put in no effort to find a site for the fight and all that. But my question to you is, in reference to that, when Tyson Fury became champion, right? He became the A side in that contract at that point, right?
Mhm.
So where he wanted to fight, when he wanted to fight, all that stuff became his team's decision. Am I right about that?
Yeah, I mean, what was said in the interview, they were valid points. You know, they were something to make you think. But most of the time, when you win a fight and you become the A side, most of the big decisions as far as location, as far as a date, as far as even down to the little things, as far as ring walk, the A side gets to determine those factors. So when Fury won that last fight, he became the A side. So he had more control over the, I guess you could say, the contract of the fight. So it would make sense for Top Rank and Fury to put together, once again, an offer sheet with everything in detail about what they wanted for the fight. And then once Wilder receives it, him and his team and his advisor, PBC, would determine if they thought it was a fair deal.
Right.
So, I mean, that's what I got out of it.
Right. So if that's the case, then it kind of throws Fury's, from what he's saying, for what Mike Carpenter saying, it kind of throws Fury's case out the window. He said his lawyers will have. He said Fury's lawyers will have to argue that number one, there was a fight with fans in it, and number two, that Wilder's team never came to them with their offer sheet. So, like kind of how you say, that's common. That makes common sense to me. What you just finished saying. If you were the A side, that's Bob Arum. That would have been Bob Arum's job to come up with the fight contract with that. So, like Fury, like he said, Wilder's team would say, Wilder's team would say, oh, well, you were extending it one time, so we assume you was extending it again, which was pretty much what Bob Arum was doing. He was pretty much waiting to get fans in there in the crowd, like a large fan, not just a Tank Davis level crowd, but like a football stadium, Tyson Fury Wilder level crowd. It's difference in crowd sizes. The same reason why the Joshua Fury fight is not being made now, because of Bob Arum. He's waiting for fans to be able to fill the seats. So that is why I feel arbitration will go a lot longer than a lot of people, especially even myself. It's going a lot longer than we want it to go. Because rumors spreading that it's just now starting. Like they're just in the beginning of it. And these court cases could take anywhere from 6 months to a year, bro. So unless I'm just go ahead and play out and straight say it. The only way to get Fury Joshua, the only way to get that fight is just for Tyson Fury to just say, forget this court case, send me the contract, I'm fighting Wilder next. Me and Wilder can fight in the summertime of this year. He beat Wilder again, and then he can fight Joshua in the fall or winter of this year. Until Fury and his team come out and say that, Wilder is not taking no $10 million step aside money. They just put it plain and simple. That way he can win anywhere from 50 to 75 million.
I mean, to all the Wilder haters, if he's just a windmill, no boxing skills, Fury made easy work of him. If he's that, then why wouldn't you take that fight again, make 100 million, get that easy work out the way, and make an Anthony Joshua fight for undisputed?
Yes.
If you throw me easy work for 100 million or 50 million, what he's gonna get probably 40, 50 million, you don't take that if it's easy work. I mean, think about it. It's easy work. I mean, if you go by the fight, he beat him pretty easily, right?
Yeah.
Do it again.
And like I told you in the last video, back in October of last year, there was no fully open state. It was states here and there that was allowing places open with rules and parameters. We now have a wide open state in Texas, which is America. If you're from UK and don't understand, Texas is America's second big. It's the biggest state. It's bigger than California.
Yeah, it's bigger. Yeah,
it's not as populated as California.
And probably like the third biggest market.
Yeah, exactly. That state is wide open. They have a stadium there called the Dallas Cowboys Stadium, where the Cowboys play. they can fill that stadium easily with 75 to 80,000 people. Easily. This people just got stimulus checks this week. So this is the best time to go ahead and make the Wilder Fury fight now, because you have an open place to fight and fill the place. Fans have, I ain't gonna say a lot of extra money because it's still a pandemic, but fans who's starving for entertainment and starving for a fight, but will get together and put that money together to buy this pay-per-view and have fight parties again. Because the state is wide open, so you can have parties again and go back to some kind of normalcy. This is the time to make that fight. To be wasting this time in court is stupid. That's all we're saying. We're not taking the Wilder side. We're not taking the pro Fury side. We're just saying it makes sense, bro. To just go ahead and just fight the man if you feel you can beat him easily.
And while you on that, I want the best Tyson Fury. And
that too.
Tyson Fury has told you, I can't, like almost similar to Adrian Broner, I can't sit around. I cannot sit around and not box or stay busy because I'm a revert back to getting fat and getting, not motivated or, and so forth. So it's good for him to stay busy. And like you said, that would be a huge fight. So I don't think it's good for any party, from Joshua to Fury to Wilder, for to wait a year, 6 months to a year for arbitration, and then try to get a Joshua fight. Well, like you said, he can jump right into that Wilder fight, and it'd be easy work, get him out the way, and then you can get your Joshua and Fury fight if he can win.
If he can win, that's the big question. Because I'm gonna be honest, that's the only reason why they are going to court and going through it. The fans aren't saying it. I mean, the Wilder fans are saying it, but the Fury fans ain't saying it. But Wilder can knock Fury out with one punch. Whether you feel he can, Fury can walk through him again, like, and beat him easier than he did the second time, you still got to fear that one punch. I'm just being real. So that's one of the reasons I feel that nobody's in the rush for that fight. But it makes no sense for me not to have that fight. Nothing just go and get over with. Because even like we said in our previous video about Bob Arum is not paying Wilder. He's not going to pay Wilder $10 million. So imagine what Bob Arum going to say if he got to pay Wilder damages for missing the contract and pays $50 to $75 to $60 million for damages. Bob Arum is not going to pay that money, man. So it's not only going to prolong the Wilder fight, but it's going to blur you up the whole picture of everybody fighting. The only person to really be winning is Joshua, because Joshua happy either way. I feel he can fight his mandatories and still make money. But you're still gonna have Fury and Wilder over here collecting dust. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you got anything else you want to ask? This is Mike Coppinger interview, and this never-ending saga, man.
No, I think we covered everything for right now.
Yeah, for right now. That's the sad part right there. For right now. Hopefully, the next time we make a video about them, it will be because Fury said, "Forget it. Send me the contract. Why are we fighting?" And then we'll come up here. We'll be screaming with joy and happiness that we finally getting these heavyweights back in the ring again, man. But with this being said, go ahead.
I was saying, because you get two big heavyweight fights, because you get you get Fury and Wilder, and then the winner will get Joshua. So everybody wins.
Yeah, and then I think we're making another video about that later too. But I think the WBC, they said something about now that I guess they wanted to say that Wilder and Dillian White can fight for undisputed, for the mandatory for undisputed. So imagine if, let's say, Fury loses to Wilder and Wilder goes to fight Joshua. Fury and Dillian White will fight for that mandatory for undisputed, and vice versa. If Fury beats Wilder, then Wilder can fight White, and then he gets his rematch with possibly Fury if Fury win, or he finally get that long-awaited AJ fight. It's a win. This is what we wanted. We just wanted these four. I say four guys because not Dillian White's included. We wanted these four guys to fight. This is what we wanted. So putting this on the shelf for a court case that can be solved in the ring is stupid. With that being said, this is CTB. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Get him out of here, man.
All right, everybody. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, peace and love, and we out of here.